Welcome to the Punk Rock Drummers Podcast, Season 2, Episode 2. And who did we
Where
have this time?
this time we had Mr. Jarret Nathan of PEARS, and Oceanator and Super Weeks, and let me just scroll one more time here. Lowercase Roses.
Okay. Yeah. He's been around,
He's
man.
got a few. Yeah. Yeah, actually, I spoke with him earlier today, and Oceanator has a show on the 20th, 7:20 in Brooklyn at Baby All Rights. The Super Week records he drummed on is coming out an undetermined date, but the first single called Mr. Blindside is streaming. He's been drumming in a band called Lowercase Roses. He's not on the record, but he's playing with them live, and he's always playing around Philly. So keep an eye out for that as well.
I did not realize he was in so many bands.
When you're that good, you're that good.
I know. Yeah.
He's
I mean,
the man.
we had a good long conversation with him, but I guess we stuck mostly to PEARS.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I guess that's why we might have to do a part 2.
Yeah, there's a lot to cover, but it was a great conversation, man. It's funny too. Is like we got really like opened up. So I don't know, man. It's been cool. Like people are sharing a lot about their personal lives other than drumming as well too. So, Jarret, we appreciate everything, man. It was a fun chat. I hope everyone else enjoys it.
Yeah, I feel like the podcast has evolved a bit, because we were just mainly just beginning. It was just like a lot of just drum and like gear and stuff like that. And then now we're starting to hear personal stories and crying almost, and I think that's a really cool thing.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with those threatening emails I've been sending. It's
No.
fine.
No. And also I love learning about new. Now I've known about PEARS for a while, but doing this podcast really gets me into learning about each one of these drummers and about their lives. And then when you talk to them, you learn even more, and then they become your new favorite band. So, that's something I'm really enjoying about doing this. And it's really cool that we can do this and have the opportunity to do this and talk to so many cool drummers.
Yeah. Yeah. One day we'll get the drummer from Spice Girls for you. I promise.
They have a drummer?
Yeah, it's this little square box with some pads on it. I don't know. I'll tell you what I want, what I really want. Anyways, yeah. Well, as of right now, so we give a little shout out sleeve washers.
Always. Yep. Sleeve washers. Great product. Put them on your drums.
Make them
tuning, no rattling. Stay in tune longer. 'Cause my lugs are always falling out, so those definitely help. Punk Rock Drummers merch. I got my shirt on. So
me too. No.
If you go to suburbanscreen.com/punk rock drummers, you can find the merch store, and we got a lot of cool stuff on there: t-shirts, tank tops, shorts, towels, wristbands, work t-shirts, you name it. Lots of stuff. And we're adding stuff all the time. So go check it out. Order something. Wear it proudly. Oh, and big thanks to my buddy Chris Dowley of Authority Zero. I went and saw them last Saturday. Amazing band. They were playing with Voodoo Glow Skulls. And I met Stephen Reese, their drummer, as well. And Chris wore his Punk Rock Drummers t-shirt. Of course, he cut the sleeves off. I think he went in the room backstage and cut the sleeves off. So, yeah.
Where was the show?
It was at Granada Theater in Dallas.
Yeah, it's Texas, man. You got to have your guns.
Yeah. But I appreciate him wearing that shirt up on stage in front of all those people. Really cool experience, too.
Nice.
And thanks for getting me in the show.
You're welcome. I had nothing to do with it. But...
I'm talking to Chris now, okay?
Well, technically, whatever, man. I'm not.
Yeah. So, yeah, we got a really great episode coming up for you. Good conversation. Jarret's a really nice guy. And I can't wait for you guys to hear it. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Let's kick it off.
All right.
Later, nerds.
Bye.
I have a couple questions. Is this light annoying? Is number one.
No, not at all.
All right, it's not too bright. Also, can you hear my air conditioner?
No.
Sick.
Can you hear my
Hell yeah.
refrigerator?
I can't. Nope.
Yeah, I mean, what is that? A 58?
Classic shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it'll reject all that stuff.
Thank God, because it's getting hot in Philly.
Oh, I know. Dude, I was in Florida. I played with Down by Law a week and a half ago. And I
What's
couldn't
up?
believe how humid it was.
Hey, bud.
Yeah, it sucks. I fucking hate it.
We're already in the middle of the interview, Christian. Where have you been?
Why everyone got on early?
Where?
I was saying goodnight to my
Screen.
children. I'm sorry. I should have told them to get bent, get
That's
lost,
so nice.
nerds.
Good
I wish I had
night.
children to say goodnight to.
You want to yell to mine quick? I'll put you on the P.
Go to bed.
That's ironically pretty much what I sound
I don't
like.
have any kids of my own, but I have so many of my friends are starting to have kids, and my sister just had a kid, and every time someone has a child, I get this like shitty onesie printed with just like block Helvetica font that says Jared is my uncle. It's great. They love it.
Nice.
Yeah.
You're the cool uncle.
Yeah, I'm trying.
I was trying to convince my wife to get a sign in our front yard that said "Get off my lawn," but have it be like skulls and crossbones, so it was like
Yeah.
cool, but still get off my lawn.
Yeah.
I'm actually pretty upset how much I care about my yard. It's ridiculous.
That's what happens when you get older. The things that like never matter to you, all of a sudden you would die for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mowed my entire property. Well, almost all of my entire property, and there's things that you just have to do, being old and living in a suburban home.
Yep. That's cool.
I blame the descendants. It's all their fault.
Right?
Absolutely.
Well, hello.
Well, here we are.
Welcome to the
Here we are.
podcast.
Thank you. What's
Everyone's
going on,
good?
gentlemen?
Levels are
good to be
good?
here. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
so.
Yeah,
Awesome.
you
Ooh,
sound
I
really
like
good.
the handheld. What's that?
Yeah, you
Who
sound
does?
really good.
Me?
Jarret.
Oh
Hey,
yeah, I
thanks.
guess he does.
I
Whatever.
have an interface that Ryan from Off of Their Head sent me a long time ago, and I have this microphone. So we're doing
Nice.
good.
What are you using? What's the interface?
Ugh. Focus right.
Yeah, that's what I have. The little
yeah.
18i20 or whatever.
It's red.
Yeah, yep, that's what I have too.
Cool.
We need to send one to Christian.
What's
Even
wrong with
though
mine?
He's actually sounds better than I do now. We've got him pretty good.
I got an old what is it? Behringer, like a USB mixer, so I can run a couple different channels in it.
That's
Look
true.
at you.
The first couple episodes sounded horrible because I didn't realize I had a couple channels unmuted. So like my room mic that's 8 feet across the room was just picking up static the whole time. It was great. But enough about microphones.
Yeah, this is a drummer's podcast.
Hell
We're
yeah.
here to talk with the man of the hour,
Yes.
Matt Morris. Nope, Jarret Nathan. Thank you for being here, Jarret. Appreciate it.
Pleasure to be here.
How are you this evening? Good?
I'm wonderful. Yeah, it's been a good day.
Nice. Anything good today?
It was just like a good day of work, hanging out with a lot of friends. I work with a ton of my friends. And yeah, it was just good. It was nice out. I was outside a lot. Just laughed a lot.
What do you
Good,
do for
feeling
work?
good. I work down at the Navy Yard here in Philly. The Urban Outfitters headquarters is here, and me and every other musician in Philly are freelance PAs down at the studios. So we'll do work in the studios on photo shoots, and we'll go to upstate New York or the Hamptons or something for like fancy location shoots. I'm just hauling gear, setting up product, making sure everyone has what they need, and it's been a pretty consistent, reliable job for 5 years now, and it gives me the freedom to tour and do whatever, travel, come back, and always have consistent work. I'm very, very lucky.
Yeah, that's hard to find for sure.
Yeah.
Like getting
Yeah,
all
cool.
that time off.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, like all my friends, it's been like kind of passed down from generation to generation of Philly musicians. So all my friends do it. It's a lot of fun.
Nice.
Nice.
Very cool.
Well, next time you're in upstate New York, you got to hit me up.
Oh yeah, I meant to ask, where exactly are you?
close to Albany.
Cool. Yeah,
So,
we'll go to Hudson. We were
nice.
in Pauling a couple weeks ago, Kingston, and all that stuff.
You gotta come get a tattoo sometime.
Hell yeah, I haven't had a tattoo. See, the thing is about not touring so much anymore. Most of my tattoos come from being on the road and trading records and shirts for free tattoos, and like being home. It's like I can't be bothered to. What am I gonna do? Think of something, and it's a lot easier under pressure to be like, I gotta get a tattoo now. What am I gonna get? So
we got a whole lobby full of Flash for you to choose from.
Cool.
So
hell yeah,
no shortage.
I'll make it there one day.
Awesome. Well, man, I guess we'll start talking about drums, right? Since that's what everyone's here for.
I'm ready.
At the end of the day. So, generic question, but what was the first kit?
My first kit was a red CB percussion kit. I started playing drums around 7, and my mom bought it for $100 for my karate instructor. And I played that all the way up through age 14, maybe, when I found a nice used DW kit on Craigslist. Yeah, that red CB kit, like all my first bands, just crushing it on that. I have it it's in my basement now. When I moved back from, so I moved to New Orleans when I joined Pears in 2015, came back to Philly in 2017. And at that point, I only had one kit that I was playing. And that stayed in New Orleans for a while. I'm like, I need something. So I went to my mom's house in New York on Long Island where I grew up, brought that red kit back home, and I would use that to gig when I moved back to Philly. So it's still kicking. I've been meaning to refinish it forever because it sounds pretty good, but yeah, it's still kicking in my basement.
Now, when you say red, do you mean wine red?
No, I mean like cherry, like
damn it.
No, not cherry.
You were gonna ask that.
Not even candy apple red. Just like when you think of red, it's just fucking red.
I have this
Pantone
theory that 90% of beginners drum sets, no matter if they're CBs or not, are all that like horrible deep wine red.
Dude,
gross
it's
color.
Awful. In high school, I worked at Sam Ash in the drum department, and every fucking like Tama, whatever it was called, whatever the beginner kit was, they were all that color. It's horrible. It's like stained into my memory.
That's my second kit was wine red. My first one was like a off-white Yamaha.
Hell yeah.
So what led, like, did you start instantly kind of going in with punk music, or were you started?
No, that came later. I was a big Third Eye Blind guy. Like, I was young. I was listening to the radio a lot. So it was Third Eye Blind, like fucking Chumbawamba, those kind of radio hits. My dad was big into like The Who, and my mom was more of a Beatles guy than my dad, so I listened to the Beatles a bunch. But it was generally like that kind of classic rock stuff and radio things first. Punk came way later.
Okay, so you grew up drumming along to more like mid-tempo kind of stuff. Like, was that what you were playing along with at that age?
Yeah.
I mean, you started young, dude. Sevens.
I started young, yeah, and I didn't really start out playing along to music. I would just kind of fuck around by myself. I started taking lessons right away, just kind of learning the rudiments, and probably I remember what year would that have been, when I think it was around when Californication came out, the Chili Peppers record, was when I was like, I want to learn how to play this specific song, and I would bring it to my drum teacher, and we would figure that out. But initially it was just like kind of tapping along and getting to know the drum set.
Nice. Do you how old was the first band?
First band was probably 14. A lot of Green Day covers. I think Brains do.
Same.
Like most people my age. Yeah, was the first thing. Yeah, my first band was called For Promotional Use Only. And then we decided it was too long, so we changed it to Running with Scissors. And then we got a message from a Canadian band with the same name on MySpace that threatened to sue us if we didn't change our name. So we changed it to Shoot the Lights. I wasn't in charge of naming any of these bands.
Is that a Weird Al reference? Running with Scissors?
Dude, I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
I think he has an album called Running with Scissors. If I remember right.
I didn't even know that.
If I remember correctly.
The first band name was too long, so you just did one word.
Yeah.
I can't even. My first band that I ever played in was called Rhinopolis. because one
Ooh.
of the dudes couldn't say rhinoceros. So we're just
God.
like, there you go.
That's so funny.
That's how it works. So you grew up pretty like playing a lot of rudiments.
Yeah. I forget what the name of it wasn't Stick Control. Stick Control came later. I don't remember what the name of the first book was, but I remember. So my dad was a big musician. He played in a bunch of cover bands. When I was growing up, he played guitar and keyboards and sang. But he played. He grew up playing in marching band in high school. He played fucking sousaphone in marching band in like a championship level, like winning whatever the competition is called for marching band. He played sousaphone, played trumpet, trombone. So he really drilled into me the idea of just like tempo and like proper technique at a really early age. So when I was practicing on my drum pad, I would be playing along to a click, and he would really make sure that I was getting like the crucial stuff really drilled into me at an early age.
Yeah, you can
hear it.
tell. Yeah,
Yeah, you can hear it now.
Listening to your records, you can hear that. I wish so much. I didn't start playing until '94 when I was 14, and so there was a lot of time where that went by that I could have developed better drumming skills, but I just didn't know. You know, I lived in a small town, and we didn't have drum instructors or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I made the best of it.
Absolutely, yeah. No shame in that. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, good for you though, man. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's cool. And now I love playing to a click.
I do too.
It's just so much fun. I love the zone of completely locking in when you're recording. And when I'm recording, I don't like to have scratch tracks. I don't like to have anything in my ear but the click drum. I like to just tune everything out, just really lock into that. And yeah, that came from my dad telling me to play to a metronome.
That's cool.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of people struggle, like still to this day.
For sure.
I mean, I've told Matt, like I just for the past 2 years, I've kind of just locked myself in the basement, and I'll just go on YouTube and find like playlists of drumless tracks, just hit random, and have no idea what style of music I'm going to play to or what tempo it's going to be. And I got a show coming up, like a little reunion show, and now I have to play fast and technical again. I'm awful. Like I spent so much time playing like slow and building my chops, playing the clicks. Now they got to play fast again. I'm struggling. So, got any tips for us? You play pretty fast. What can I do?
Dude,
I gotta get my strength back.
People ask me this question all the time, and I don't know where it came from. I mean, I know where it came from in the sense that when I started listening to punk, I would listen to specifically NoFX and Lagwagon and just sit in my basement over and over again, just playing all of their songs. And I got my foot came first, being able to play that punk beat. And I remember struggling with it for a small period of time. And then all of a sudden something clicked, and then I could just do it. And then I could just do it really fast. And I wanted to do it really fast. It's probably from like those early Derek Bird Lagwagon records. And that just became my baseline. So an issue that I had later when I started playing with a lot of different people and different kinds of music, I really struggled to play slow. Because when I'm glad that I have the ability to play fast, but I've definitely am learning a lot more about restraint the older I get. But when I'm playing, it feels like, I don't know if it's probably just adrenaline, but I'll listen back to recordings of a show and then I'll be like, holy fuck, I didn't even realize I was playing that fast. And it's just my natural state. And it's a blessing that I can do it, because that's what I do with pairs. That's how I like to play. But like, people ask me, how do I get my chops up? How do I get faster? I'm like, I don't know, man. There's just something in my blood that lets me do it. I didn't try. I didn't it wasn't a goal of mine. Like, I have to be faster. I could just do it, and then I could just keep doing it. So I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't have an answer.
Well, no, I mean, you could definitely, a lot of us that grew up playing to faster music, like if you're sitting down in the basement at what you said, like 13, 14, playing along with like those early Lagwagon records, like, dude, Plord was an absolute monster. like
Nuts.
the consistency of everything that guy did, and just the fills. Like it kind of blew my mind when I heard that for the first time, just being like, I've never heard anyone kind of like pop off the hi-hat like that, and like the
Exactly.
accents that dude would hit, it was crazy. So you could definitely hear a lot of that in your music. So
Yeah. Cool.
it's not, it's weird, man. It's funny, like the first time I heard Pears, it was the Go to Prison record, which you correct we're not playing on.
Not
okay,
me.
so do you know who the drummer was?
Oh yeah, John Bourgeois.
Okay.
Yeah, he's unbelievable drummer. Yeah.
It was the song Sycophant that has that weird turnaround and the breakdown. That's still like, was there anything that he did that you kind of had trouble picking up on, or did everything kind of click pretty?
It's funny that turnaround there's certain things that takes me a minute to wrap my head around, and that turnaround, when I started practicing with Pears for the first time, I just like couldn't get it. And then like with like learning to play fast, Brian just explained it, in the guitar player in Pears, Brian Pretis, just like explained it in a way, showed me in a way, I think with his hands or something, and then it clicked. But there's certain, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, we play pretty similarly. And even before I joined the band, before Zach asked me to send videos of me playing the songs, like I was already, the second that record came out, I was in my basement playing along to those songs. So a skill that I have that I'm really that I feel really nice about is I have a good ability to hear something and be able to play it. So I didn't really, it's less that there wasn't anything that I struggled with. It was more that John's drumming and I just lined up in this way where we played pretty similarly, and it just kind of was natural for me.
Nice.
Yeah, I've always been kind of like that too. People always say, "How do you know what they're playing?" But like somehow we can isolate instruments. I don't know if you can do that or not. Like I can just listen to a bass track, a whole song, or I can just listen to the hi-hat or the snare or the kick. I don't know what that is, but that helped me learn the drums. Because
Cool.
back then we didn't have access to a lot of video and stuff, so we had to listen. We really train our ears to hear these things.
Yeah, and
learn.
when I'm learning songs, I know there's a lot of drummers that like, oh, can you, like, if someone's learning my songs, like they like to see a video or something like that, but that doesn't really, I don't really need that. I can just, whatever that thing is that we have, or we can just isolate those things and pick it. I don't have that with other instruments. I play drums and I can only play drums. I've tried to do other stuff. Music in that melodic sense has never clicked for me, but I'm able to just listen to what's being played, and I can just imagine it in my head, and that's enough for me.
Well, you're playing the hardest instrument, so
hey, thanks, brother.
It is. It's such a hard instrument for people to wrap their heads around.
Yeah, I hear that a lot, but I don't know how a guitar works. I don't know how people are doing that with fingers. You're going to use your fingers to make sounds? That doesn't make any sense.
Technically, I mean, we're kind of doing it, right?
Yeah, guitar is percussive.
A little bit. Yeah, I think that the thing that I struggle with the most lately in like modern music is everything is pitched so low that like sometimes I can't tell if it's a floor tom or a kick drum. Like sometimes things do get a little bit lost. But before we get too far into this like kind of nerdier stuff, which I love, let's go back a little bit and talk about like how you, like, what were you doing before, what was going on at that point? Like, did they approach you to play? Were they auditioning drummers? Like, how did you come to be in the band?
So at the time that Pears started, I was playing in a hardcore band here in Philly called Push Ups, with my best friends, and it was a really fun, wacky hardcore band. Before Pears, they were all in a band called the Lollies. This was Brian, Alex Talbot, our original bass player, and Zach. They did a tour with Stuck Lucky.
Oh, we freeze.
You froze.
What do we do? What's the protocol?
It'll fix itself. It does that occasionally. There. See, it's back.
All right. Do you want me to start over?
No,
Yeah,
you're fine.
I heard nothing.
Okay,
Oh,
all right.
okay.
I'll
Go
go
ahead.
back
I
to the
can edit
beginning.
it.
So at the time that Pairs started, I was playing in a hardcore band called Push Ups with a bunch of my best friends here in Philly. Really weird hardcore band. So much fun to play in. Uh, Before Pairs started, they were in a band called the Lollies. Alex Talbot, our original bass player, Brian and Zach from Pairs. Uh, they came on tour to Philly with Stuck Lucky, ska punk band from Nashville, and Christian, Push Up's bass player, was friends with Greg Rodrigue, who runs Community Records in New Orleans. So we played the show with the Lollies. Brian wasn't there. I can't remember why he decided not to do that tour. There's a really funny reason for it, but I can't remember. So I met Zach and Alex, and we just hit it off. Zach and I kept in touch for a while. We were talking about maybe we'll do a split record with Push Ups and the Lollies. And then the Lollies broke up shortly after that. Pairs started, and the second I heard "Go to Prison," I was just like, "Man, this is the kind of music that I wish I was playing." And they came back to Philadelphia again. Push Ups played with them again. They crashed at my house. We had a great time, and then a couple months later, Zach texted me and was like, "Hey, we're moving in a different direction with our drummer. Would you want to move to New Orleans and join Pairs?" And I sent him a couple videos, and I remember him telling me that him and Brian had to like sneak away from, because they were still on tour. They had to sneak away from everyone on tour, watch the videos I was sending him. I think it was Breakfast, Framework, and Sycophant were the songs that I recorded myself playing. And then like the day after they watched it, they were like, "Dude, you're made for this." And that was in October of 2014. I moved to New Orleans. I rented a car, drove down with my drums and some other stuff. Got to New Orleans early January. We practiced for a couple weeks, and then I flew to Europe with them. And my first tour with them was a month in Europe. And I was like, because I had toured before that a little bit. I'd done like a Northeast tour. I went down to South by Southwest with a band that I used to play in, but I never toured like this before. And I got back from that. I was like, this is what I'm meant to do. It was pretty fucking sick to move there and then just get on a plane and go tour Europe.
Yeah, I'm glad you had a
We
little
could-
bit of experience before because it's a little jarring, being away from home a lot and sleeping on couches and
Yeah,
you're
but
exhausted and
that's like,
driving and
but that's part of like when you're young. I was
yeah.
25 when I
Oh,
joined, and like
okay.
I'm
Yeah,
still young. I'm like, I never got to do the whole sleeping on floor. Like, I had toured a little bit. We had slept on
sure.
floors. I knew what it was like, but when you're in it and you're that young and you don't have the other things in your life like keeping you uh certain responsibilities, I'm just like,
Right.
I don't care if we that faded pretty fast. I never want to sleep on a floor on tour ever again. But yeah, it was cool. And yeah, and then it just took off from there. All of a sudden we're just saying yes to the next tour and then the next tour, and we have like maybe a day or two off in between tours, and it's just month after month, and next thing I know we're just on the road 9-10 months out of the year, and then that's my life.
That's sick, dude. So
Yeah.
when did you guys start work? So did Green Star follow?
Green Star
Or,
followed, and they at that point they were just pumping out music. I remember we were in our Sprinter van in Europe, and Brian brought his laptop and a bunch of stuff, and they were just demoing songs and writing stuff in the van on that first tour. Because Go to Prison had been out. I don't remember what month Go to Prison out, but it had been 6 or 7 months or something. And they were just like, "Yeah, we're starting on the new one." And so we started working on that first tour in January, and it just happened real quick.
so the writing process, since they were doing that stuff on the road, like were you just kind of hearing drum parts in your head, or
So for those early on, Brian and Zach were like the two main songwriters. They would get together and they would pump everything out. And Brian is so good at programming drums, and a lot of the stuff early on, all the skeletons of the drum parts came from his brain. So as he's writing guitar parts, he's filling in the gaps with the craziest shit. I'm like, dude, this is like for a 4-armed person to play. This makes absolutely no sense.
Guitar players.
And then when we would start practicing, I would take the skeletons that he wrote and evolve them. So a lot of the most of Green Star was just came from the brain of Brian, and then I would take them and evolve them and make them into Jarret type parts, because I have a unique way of playing. I listen to a lot of kinds of music growing up, and I get bored really easily is the real answer. And that's why Pears really scratched that kind of itch for me, because there's a lot going on. So I would take those parts and fuck with them and make them my own, and just we would build from there.
So you had pretty much working off his skeletons. You pretty much had freedom of. Did they ever shoot you down anything?
Not really.
Nice.
There was on the last record, Brian was like, "We should do a blast beat here." I'm like, I respect the hell out of people who do blast beats, but I was never good at it. It's not something I want to do. And we would argue back and forth. She's like, just do a blast beat right here. But just like, it'll take a second. You'll just do it and it'll be done. I'm like, I don't know. Same thing with like double kick stuff, because we got a little thrashier at some parts on the last self-titled record. And that was another one. It was blast beats and double kick. I'm like, but I like that I play I was more stubborn back then. But mostly because like I wasn't a double kick drum player, and like I didn't want to learn to play double kick. I liked that. Maybe it's a selfish thing, maybe it's an ego thing, but I like that people came up to me after shows and be like, wait a second, you're not using a double kick pedal?
That was the best feeling in the world.
Yeah, there's nothing like it. I'm like, no, dude, I don't know what to tell you. It was fast. And yeah, sometimes I could like the things that Brian did want, I was able to kind of do the floor tom with the kick, like fake it a little bit. We didn't really need to. It was just for like one part in a song. But yeah, that was the kind of stuff that we butted heads on, because I knew who I was. I knew what I was comfortable with, and I liked to lean into that. And I think over the years, that's kind of defined the way that I play, by just kind of being true to myself. And not that Brian was trying to change that. He was just like, it's another cool thing to have in your repertoire. And I was just like, I don't really want to.
I'm in a similar boat, because my band Fire Sale, we're all spread out everywhere, and I'll get sent a song with pre-programmed drums, and it's crazy. It's just like you described. It's the funniest thing. They're like, Chris Swinney, who does all this, he's like, well, I'm not a drummer, but he does a really great job. But at first, when I first joined the band about, I don't know, 4 years ago, I had to play everything that was programmed. Now it's like, okay, we trust you, you know.
Good feeling to be trusted.
Huh?
It's a good feeling to be trusted.
Oh, I know. Yeah, after a few songs, they're like, oh yeah, okay, this is great. This is, you add your own spin to it, and it just sounds better than any pre-recorded stuff you can get.
Mm-hmm.
It just sounds more real. So yeah, I'm in the same boat as you are. Well, at least you may not be like that anymore, but I know you did
you're
go
in
through
enough
that.
of the boat.
Yeah, for sure. But it's fun.
Dude, oh, sorry. Go ahead,
No,
Matt.
it's okay. It's fun and challenging to do stuff like that too, because you listen to the song a whole bunch, and then you kind of get stuck on some of that stuff, and you're like, no, I want to do it this way, and you have to like retrain your brain to do it a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Christian, go ahead.
No, you're good, dude. Just before we stray too far from Green Star, Matt, you're gonna roll my eyes. I swear this is a song title. I want to talk about cum shots.
Let's talk about cum shots.
Look, Matt looks so angry.
I saw that song title.
Zach,
when we that was our first record that came out on Fat. Go to Prison was re-released, and you can read the lyrics. I think it's pretty self-explanatory what cum shots it's about. It's an analogy, or a metaphor, whatever. But Fat Records was like, okay, what songs do you want to be the single? And Zach was like, we want the second single to be cum shots. And they're just like, please no. Can we just pick any different song? And we're like, no, it's got to be this one. It's really good. Sorry.
I'm pretty surprised to hear that, honestly. Given
it wasn't anything. They were just like, Okay, fine.
No, Matt just rolled his eyes because that's how I start like 90% of our conversations. And he's like, dude, what the fuck's wrong? No, but holy shit, man, the outro on that song.
Yeah.
Like I tried to formulate like a good question, but it's more of just like how? Like I think that's the kind of stuff too that like I hear that riff and I heard something completely different of like what I would do. And obviously this it's not about me, but it's just so funny of like what other people come up with. And I guess I mean I kind of already know the answer to a certain extent, given that you said you can kind of hear things and play them immediately. But I just it was such an I guess an interesting choice the way you played it from like the crashes, then doing all the rolls and the toms and stuff like that. Did you try other parts first, or was that just just what came out?
That's it. I rarely the things that I work through are the fills, mostly in between the verses and the choruses and stuff. Like I said, I get bored very easily, so that's where the doing stuff over and over again and figuring out what's best. And what I really like to do is evolve fills through the song, so the fill in the middle of in the first verse will be one thing, and then the fill in the middle of the second verse will be similar but expanded, and whether there's more rest in it or just the way that I end, or I like to create I don't even know what the right word is, but I like to make the drums feel like it's a gradual breathing entity in the song.
Yeah.
So that's more where that comes from. But with these parts, I'm just like, no, I hear this, I'm doing this, and then I do it and it works. I'm like, cool, done, easy.
So I'm new to this party, so please don't judge me too hard. But is that I've been kind of trying to learn how to mess with like time signatures. I've done it before in the past, just not knowing I was doing it. Is that's not 4/4, is it? The end of that song?
I think it is.
Yeah. It's just, dude, it's a
1, 2, 1, 2. I think it is.
Yeah. It was funny, man, when you and I were speaking on the phone the other day, I was so surprised to hear that you didn't come from like a metal influence, because that shit like that got me going. Like I was listening to it in the car, and like I'm like a suburban dad in a Subaru, and like there's a guy next to me, and I'm like, oh, I think I got like a little too into that song. And the dude's like, what the fuck is happening?
That's cool.
No, but that's a killer song. I just love how that end, it really like it kind of comes out of nowhere. Not expecting it. So fucking, I guess more than anything, man, I say this all the time in this show, but like a lot of things start as questions and then just end up more of like tipping my hat. Because
hell yeah, well, thank you very
parts,
much,
man.
For
yeah. Sure. Matt?
Oh, well, I was kind of wondering. It was funny because there was a song. What's the title? You said it's very no, not that one. Very Bill Stevenson like. And I was curious what kind of influences do you have like punk rock drummer influences?
So my main ones are Smelly from NoFX, Dave Ron,
okay, you mentioned them. Yep,
and Derek. Bill is huge. I was like a big Circle Jerks, Bad Brains, Den Kennedy's guy. But those are the punk ones. But man, like early on, there's a lot of Keith Moon in there. But really, what made me, so I learned all the basic stuff that I felt I needed to learn. The fast foot from Smelly, the fills from Dave, like the precision and kind of ergonomic structure of the way Bill plays. But really, when I branched out of that, that turned me into a better drummer. Listening to the Mars Volta, John Theodore and Thomas Pridgeon, listening to Hella, Sacramento Noise Band. Zach Hill is just like an ungodly drummer. It's ridiculous. Tara Mellos, John Clardy's drumming. So it's rooted in punk, but it's just like a mix of so many different things.
Very cool. Yeah. It's funny because we'll usually have a long list, and then we'll just make our own. It'll just mesh together, and we'll have our own signature sound.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's how it works. I think it's cool. I think it's cool when you can hear a drummer and know exactly who it is. You know.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's nice to have. It's like with writing, like authors have a voice. It's the same
Mhm.
thing with drumming. I love knowing. Being able to pick out who it is without knowing.
Yeah, for sure. Like when Bill played on that Lemonheads album, it's like, oh, that's Bill. Like,
Yeah, the
you
most
know,
unique
I can
drummer in the world.
tell. I can tell that's his snare sound or his.
Hmm.
That's the fill that he would do right there. I know it because I've studied him for my whole life.
Yeah, it's a good feeling.
It
And
sure
now Bill
is.
has a restraining order on Matt because he's
I
studying the rules.
know. I know.
Dude, so I think it was Zero Wheels that I was talking about.
Yeah,
Hmm.
That
that's what it
song.
was.
And I mean this is the highest compliment, Jarret. Like if you had told me that was Bill on that
Oh,
specific song, like I wouldn't have batted an eyelash at it, man. That was
I
thanks,
agree.
man.
the fills.
Well, that one in particular, so there are a couple of songs from the last record, the self-titled, that we wrote in a room together, which doesn't happen very often. It was that one and Funerals and Rich to Rags. So that like just started from scratch, like traditional, like Brian will give you a riff, you jam on it for a while, and then you figure out the song. And that one, like the way that he was playing, I just like I felt Bill in that, and I explicitly wrote it as like kind of bouncy, and the way there's a lot of rack tom in there.
Yep.
There's so many songs that Bill will just completely ignore the floor tom and do everything on the rack. And yeah, it's cool that you picked up on that, because that one in particular had explicitly Bill in mind when I was writing it.
I almost heard a little bit of some of the fills, like the intro, "I'm the One,"
Yeah.
kind of bouncing throughout there.
Yeah.
But I mean, that whole album, man, I know I said this to you already, but what an accomplishment, in my opinion, to make a record like that where none of the songs sound like the same band, but still have the consistency of sounding like. I know it's completely contradicting of itself to say it like
exactly
that,
what
but
you
like
mean.
it was crazy, man. I think "Worm" is one of those songs too. That's just like the falsetto vocals and the little like Beach Boys harmonies, and it's
bass in the beginning.
yeah, it's nuts, man. I think that the swing in the beginning of that song, I don't know why, but in my head, like you got to be playing it like, I don't know. I just see like the sticks swinging in a certain way. But that was another one too, where I noticed that in the intro, like the first measure, there's really no snare, right? It's like
there's a couple little accents,
and then when second time it comes through and you're just swinging full on the snare, it's like those those little subtleties I think a lot of people wash over. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with Limp, but Johnny Cruz, the drummer of that band, he was really good at that kind of stuff too. We interviewed him a while ago, of like never really going back to the same part. And I think that's something that you guys got a good handle on. Is you're right. Like now that you mentioned how you build things, like you can hear it throughout the songs. Has it always been like that, or with other bands was it a little more straightforward? Or
no, I mean, if I'm drumming, it's gonna be like that. If you go back to listen to like my old Philly bands, whether it's Push Ups, this old pop punk band Gaston, All Bad, like if you go back and listen to those drum parts, I've always loved that. It's my way of like using like kind of like choreography in music and elevating the next part. There's definitely something to be said for traditional, just like verse is going to be this one part the whole time, chorus is going to be this one part the whole time, but it makes it feel more organic to me. And that's what I do what feels good. And most of the time, 99% of the time, my body is telling me, even if it's just for me, to be like, I just don't want this to be like the one before. I want each thing to be a new expression. And even if it's subtle, it means something to me, and it gives the song this breath to it. And I've always approached writing drum parts like that.
Well, there's no rule book that says. I mean, I think the technical definition or the reason for the fills is to transition from one part to another. But I love them just for no reason in the middle.
No, I mean,
of a chorus or verse. Like
I use them as a way to express myself. I put fills where they shouldn't be. I certainly know when they should be and where they should be, but it varies. I use them as a way to express myself as a drummer, and if that's not traditional, then that's even better because it always fits. I make it fit,
Right.
and I use it as like an extra melodic part. It becomes a part of the melodic structure, which is exciting to me as a drummer because we don't get to really do that.
What are you following most whenever you're writing a song? Is it kind of like a mixture of things, or is it like the bass line or vocal melody type stuff?
It depends. It depends what band I'm playing in. A lot of times, my buddy Evan Bernard, who I've played in a million bands with, he runs a studio with my buddy Chris Baglivo called Jamtown here in Philly. I've played with them on so many different projects, so many different bands. He'll write his bass to me, which is really fun. So like I love locking in with the bass player. This is like a multi-part answer.
Sure.
I love locking in with the bass player, but I love to do the thing that I'm talking about with the fills. So then we'll go over exactly what I'm playing, and he'll lock in with the bass to what I'm doing and nail every little rhythmic thing, which is so sick. It makes me feel so good. It's like, everyone just wants to be heard.
Yeah.
and as a drummer, when someone's like, okay, rhythmically on the bass, I'm going to do exactly what you're doing, it feels great. So a lot of the time with stuff like that, it's the reverse. The bass is kind of like working to me. Usually it's just what the guitar riff is doing. And with Brian, there's so much to do because Brian's guitar playing is insane, and his like they're all downstrokes.
Yeah.
He's such an incredible guitar player. It's so rhythmic. So there's a lot to pick up on. And a lot of the times I'll write fills based on what his hands are doing in the in between parts. But I also like to it depends because a lot of the times the vocals, like on this last Pairs record, the vocals will come later, which is why songs change so much when we're playing live as opposed to the record, because once I like to lock in rhythmically with the vocals and add little subtle things that accentuate the rhythm of the vocals,
like certain phrases.
Certain phrases, highlighting different syllables, or like if I catch a syllable or the way it's sung that I feel is important, I'll play something to highlight that because I want it elevated. I think that it's elevated for the listener. So I'll kind of pick and choose what does it for me and what I think other people would appreciate, and kind of like bring that into the spotlight a little bit. It's fun. It's really fun to just pay attention to everything. And
yeah, it sounds like you're kind of separating yourself a little bit, or more like an outsider too, like listening in.
Yeah, I try. I mean, we're music is one of those cool rare art forms where the listener is a participant, and
right.
you're not just watching a movie, you're not just critiquing a movie. When you're listening, you're feeling, not that you're not feeling emotions watching a movie, but it's a different human experience, and it's fun to, because at the end of the day, the music we're playing, we're listening to, and we're experiencing it every time we perform it, every time we listen to the record. So yeah, it's a unique perspective, and I try and embrace that and think about not only what it's like to play, but what it's like to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're a drummer's drummer. Like I feel like you're doing it for all of us. Like to make it interesting. So before we stray too far, I wanted to talk about traveling time.
Yeah,
because that seemed like such like a departure from like the typical stuff that you guys would play. Some really great, just like simple fills that like you notice some building. What I thought was the most interesting to me was, I can't remember the exact timestamp, but the ride cymbal doesn't make an appearance till quite late in the song, and when it does, you're playing like a really interesting pattern. Can you walk us through like the writing process, or is that another thing you just fucking heard it and that's the way it came out? Or
that one we wrote in the studio. Basically, we wrote a lot in the studio for this last record, and Brian and Zach each wanted to have like their versions of a pop song. Zach straight up wanted to write a pop song, which was Traveling Time. Brian's version was Nap Time, which is a different kind of pop song.
Yeah.
We wrote both of those in the studio, and Zach was very clear. Zach is an incredible. Zach plays every instrument, incredible arranger, composer, and the whole vision came from that. And he was very clear. Like, I want chunky hi-hat, chunky closed hi-hat. It's like in the first verse, we're just doing eighth notes. The first part of the second verse, I think, he was like, it has to be just quarter notes, which is not my instinct to do. He was like, that has to go there. And then, yeah, the classic, like, do it on the hi-hat, and then the second half of the second verse, usually like you like elevate it a bit to the ride for a little variation. And then, yeah, just a little accents. I don't remember what I was thinking at the time, or like what specifically I was playing to, but like I was just feeling that swing thing, and then the extra little accents on the ride came in, and yeah, just felt good.
It seemed almost like excuse me, like your the rest of it, like your footwork and stuff, simplified a little bit when you started playing, which I think is like, that's another thing that to me is a signal, like a good drummer, is when one thing gets busier, you kind of dial back a little bit on the other and let that thing breathe. What kind of ride is that? Thing's fucking pingy, man.
It is. I still have it. I still use it as my main ride. I found it. Don't know whose it is. I found it at Zach's grandma's house, at Mima's house in New Orleans. It's probably, I don't know, 80s, 90s. I don't know. The serial number is all worn off. It's just an old ass ping ride, and it just sings. And there's this really funny, I checked it out. There's no cracks in it. There's no nothing, but it has this effect where if you're listening to it isolated, it's kind of got its own natural slapback. It's the craziest thing. And it just like adds to the precision of it. Like if you hit it, it doesn't quite sound like one hit. There's like this really subtle slapback to it. I don't know what the fuck it is. But it's cool. Like yeah, I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, it's just an old ping ride, and I love it.
Nice. Can you walk us through the rest of the setup that you're playing lately?
Well, my main kit is in New Orleans still. It's a Hendrix kit that I got from Rhino.
I was about to ask you about that.
Yeah, gorgeous Bubinga kit, Bubinga waterfall, natural wood. It's so pretty. I've always wanted a Bubinga kit since I was working at Sam Ash in high school, and Rhino hooked it up. And I did 2 tours with that when we came back post COVID, post lockdown. And yeah, it's gorgeous kit, but it's it's still in New Orleans. When PEARS like kind of slowed down a bit, I was like, yeah, they're safe in Brian's studio. Like that's my PEARS kit, like fully. But I haven't played it in a while. I miss it. So right now, that same DW kit that I bought when I was 14, my dad drove me to Jersey. I found it on Craigslist. It's like $1,300. I used my bar mitzvah money for it, and it's a really gorgeous like gray marble DW kit, 12-inch, 16-inch. I have my buddy Evan, who I mentioned, Evan Bernard. I had never been a metal snare drum user. Always played wood snares. Nick Angelini from Wilhelm Scream has his drum company, Well City, makes really beautiful stave snare drums. So for a while, I was using one that he made me. It's I think it's Red Gum and Purple Heart. And initially, he wanted to make it out of this old wood he found from like Hurricane Katrina. His PEARS is based in New Orleans, and he found this. He came down to Louisiana and found this wood, and it wound up being too wet, and it didn't work. But he made the emblem on it. It has the classic Well City like arrow, but on the other side, it's just like the state of Louisiana made out of that wood that he found from this. I think it was from an old church. That was really cool. But nice. Then I was like, I don't know. There's something about a metal snare, and I was messing around with Evan's stuff, and he swears by the Yamaha Recording Custom, and that's all I play. Since I like a higher pitched snare, I like it tuned pretty high from just listening to Suicide Machines when I was young, I suppose.
Oh yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I've been playing with that brass snare lately, and I swear by just 18-inch A custom as my main crash on the left. For pairs, I use a 19-inch A custom on the right. I need something with more decay because I'm doing a lot of cymbal grabs, lots of quick hits. Oh, are we frozen again?
I'm not. Is Matt?
No,
Maybe
It's Matt's
we're
turn to
good.
be frozen now.
Oh no, am I frozen?
I would just got lost in your eyes, dude.
Mine?
No, wait, you're back, Matt. It's so weird. No, you're back. Okay, cool.
All right.
All right, now everyone's good.
I don't. Should I keep going?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, cool.
Did you miss anything, Matt?
fine.
Okay,
Great, love it.
No.
So yeah, I like to play a cymbal on the right as like my main riding crash with a lot more decay because there's a lot going on for pairs. I remember we saw. Right now, I'm using a 21-inch. What is it? It's a K custom. It's a K hybrid ride, or no, it's a K crash ride. 21-inch K crash ride because we played Pumpkin Drublick in Texas. Circle Jerks played, and I was just, Joey Castillo is just the most ridiculous drummer. And I was just like, yo, what symbol? I remember hitting him up on Instagram after. I'm like, I need to know what that symbol is. And that's what he plays. And I was like, I'm in the market for something a little bigger, a little washier. So I'm using that right now. It's awesome. It's so loud. And then I always liked new beats, never had them. Funny little story. When I was working at Sam Ash in the drum department, we had a sales contest where you had to sell $10,000 worth of Zildjian cymbals. If you met that goal, you got to pick any cymbal you want for free, minus the Constantinople's. So I picked the K Custom Special Dry hi-hats, which are like $600. I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to get those. So for a while, that's what I used in pairs for a long time. And it just like super dry, super crisp, which was really nice for a lot of the close hi-hat stuff I did. Not so great for like the big washy stuff, but there was enough going on that it didn't matter. And then my buddy Tank, who played drums in Algernon Cadwallader, has a million drum sets, would go on sell drums all over the country at those like expos and stuff. He was like, yo, I got this pair of 90s titanium new beats. You should come check them out. And they're like platinum silver. And that's what I'm using now. And they're loud, but not overbearing the way that like that a brilliant hi-hat can be. There's a lot of definition. It's nice.
I got a pair of old 80s new beats that I love, 15s. They're pretty killer, but I knock my knuckles on them sometimes when I'm going to the hi-hat to split my fingers open to the 15s.
Oh yeah, this happens all the time.
So you're just strictly pretty much brass now.
Yeah. I love it.
Have you noticed? Because I don't know if you can see. Like
I've been looking at it.
Those are two Tama Art Star. One's the ES and one is just like they both the same snare drum, just different hardware. But and then I got a brass Gretsch in front of me. I was the same way. Dude. Only played wood snares. And then I went to the local shop and someone had just come in and traded two of these in, and I hit it once and was just like. Like, when you go and you don't want to spend money, but now you're spending money.
All of a sudden you're buying a $500 snare.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I got home and I put it under the mic, and I love Ludwig. That was my first kit, and I've kind of stuck with them. I've tried other things. Sonar is great. But I'd always buy like old Ludwig snares, and they sound great, but they only have like a certain threshold, especially the vintage ones. These I like the brass just in general because you can fucking rail on them and they don't peak. Like there's no hitting them too hard. And
that's why I like it.
Yeah, right. The consistency of
and like I hit hard and I like it. I liked it the drum to reflect how I'm playing.
I don't think I've ever played a brass snare drum. I have 3 snare drums that Rhino made, all 3 of them. One's maple, one is mango, and the other is bamboo. So all of my snares,
damn.
Yeah, all of my snares, yeah, Rhino. Well, it was when he was CDC, Custom Drum Concepts, and so I might need to try out a brass snare. But it was funny.
For it.
It was funny. I was texting Stefan Edgerton, I said, I'm going to be interviewing you. I said, do you have any questions? And he brought up the Hendrix. He said, last time I saw him, he was playing Hendrix drums at Rhino Made. So I'm glad that you're still doing that.
Yep. Yep.
I'll have to tell him.
Oh, that was his question for
That
me.
was, yeah. I texted him
Cool.
and asked him.
Nice.
And he also said, I don't know if you remember this, but he said, the first thing he said was, where is Sophie's shirt?
Yeah.
Do you know that?
Did he go? Yeah. Do you want me to tell you about that? Did he say anything about it?
I know the story about it, but go ahead. It's a pretty funny story.
So for a while, Pears was running our own merch shipping, which is like not when we're on the road. Like the last thing we want to be doing is worrying about getting orders out on time and stuff.
Yep.
And sometimes people's orders just slip past you. And for this one, which lasted like a year, happened to be Stefan Edgerton's daughter.
Yeah.
Sophie.
During COVID, right? Was that wasn't that the time?
During COVID, she is the sweetest person. That whole family has just like given so much to Pears. They all love us so much.
They're the best. I love them
remarkable.
so much. Yeah.
They're so wonderful. Stefan and I have been talking, like, I just want to go to Tulsa and just like hang out with them and just stay for a couple days and play some music and just chill and eat breakfast and stuff. And
that's what we did.
I never
ago.
took him up on that. Oh, sounds so nice. Maybe I'll hit him up. Maybe we'll make it happen again.
He and Nat are the best.
Yeah, they're the sweetest. So yeah, Sophie ordered a shirt. It was like a year later and she still never had the shirt. And finally, fucking Stefan and Sophie went to their basement and wrote and recorded a song about it called Where's My Shirt, which you can listen to. It's on Stefan's Bandcamp. I think it's just Stefan Edgerton Bandcamp. And Stefan played drums and Stefan, I mean, Bill plays the way Bill plays, but if there's anyone that can play like Bill, it's Stefan.
I want to get him on here too.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And they wrote a song that sounds like Descendants about us who and they had Milo come and sing it.
Sure.
So Milo's singing the lyrics that Sophie wrote about us not shipping her her Pears shirt. They call us out by name. Jarret, Brian, Eric, and Zach. And it's just this little thing. I have pretty much a Descendant song written about me and my band about us being bad at sending out merch. So
how cool is that?
Yeah, that was a cool moment, and it's nice that,
so what you're saying is we should all be slackers, and then we'll get a cool song written.
Yeah.
Yes, it pays off if you know the right people. Correct.
That was his question for you from him.
So did you ever get her the fucking shirt, dude?
She got it. She got the shirt.
Oh, she did. Okay, I didn't hear a follow up story, and if I did, I don't remember. Okay.
Did you guys write a song called "We Sent It"?
No, but I think we sent like 6 shirts. I think we gave him a lot of extra stuff.
See, you came on my radar from Sophie because you guys are like her favorite band.
Yeah.
So that's how I found out about you, and that was maybe a few years ago. So I'm still fairly new to Pears.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool that it came from Sophie. I mean, that. Yeah, they. It's the kind of thing where like you're looking around the crowd, you're looking at the side of the stage, and like them in particular, their eyes are just like lighting up watching us. There's no better feeling when you like connect with an entire family like that. And when we played in Oklahoma City, 2022, once things were opening up to tour again, and of course Stefan's coming to the show.
Yep.
Sophie was there, and Stefan's like, I want to play a song with you guys on guitar. And we're like, okay, dude. Yeah, absolutely. He's like, I want to play The Flu. I'm like, okay. It's going to be a lot faster than record, just so you know. And yeah, he just gets up, absolutely rips it, plays the most Stefan guitar solo. And yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a video of it on our Instagram somewhere if anyone wants to go
I'll have to
back
look at
and
that.
But yeah, it's like
nicest guy in the world.
A minute and change, and Stefan from Descendants just ripping his favorite Pears song with us. Coolest thing in the world.
Sick. Dude, I wasn't going to share this, but if everyone's going off there first. So I have a huge collection from Bifocal Media with Chris Sherry and Brian Walsby. So many shirts by those dudes. So, one day this package comes in the mail and I open it up and it's a Chris Sherry Pears shirt. It's got the band name. It's got the mushroom cloud explosion.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, cool. And my wife's like, what? She's like, I thought you liked that Chris Sherry. I was like, he's one of my favorite artists. I go, never heard of this fucking band before.
That you found out about us? That's
so I was like,
cool.
I better go listen to it. And like, as soon as I heard it, I was like, I'm keeping this fucking shirt and buying a couple more. So I just thought it was so funny. That was like the first time, like, I just, the chances of that happening, I'm very happy she decided to buy me that t-shirt.
That's amazing. I love
since
that.
then, it's disintegrated. I'm not sure if there's any print left on the front of it. And I don't think they make that shirt anymore.
They certainly do not.
That's the only downside of bifocal. Is once it's gone, it's gone. So you better treat them well. But yeah, that's my story of how I found out about Pairs.
That's really cool. Hell yeah.
The accident.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. That's
cool, buddy. So it's funny as I tend to talk a lot, and now I give little spaces to breathe so I can let Matt go, and then sometimes Matt doesn't talk, and I'm like, is it weird now? Is it weird? Because to me, one moment of silence is 4 years. So
I told him you're better at interviewing and I'm more color commentary.
Yeah.
But it's funny because he'll have drummers that he knows everything about, and then I'll have drummers I know everything about. So sometimes I'll be like, "This is yours, Christian." You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He knows everything about Pairs.
I think I ran that Dave Mello interview into the ground.
Yeah.
I was like, let me ask you about
Wasn't that
everything.
awesome?
Dude, I still like it. That was the first one. And I remember just messaging him on Facebook. And he's like, yeah, dude, give me a call. And like sends me his number. And I'm like sitting there, kids are already in bed. And I look at my wife. And I'm like, I'm going to go downstairs and call Dave Mello. And like just the sweetest dude, like super nice. It's funny is I didn't have the heart to tell him because I was a little embarrassed. But one of my children's name is Ivy because of that band. I mean, dude, I found out about that band when I was like 12 or 13 that like shaped me as a person. I wonder from the small town. And I guess I can form a student question if you had any of those. I don't know necessarily if I would have been, I know it sounds dramatic, but you know, hearing those lyrics that those dudes were writing at such a young age and having them hit me at a young age in a small town, I think I learned a lot from that band. And I think it, you know, the positive messages kind of shaped me as a person. So I kind of parlay that into a question. Were there any bands for you at a young age that hit you that like you may have think that like actually impacted you turning out the way you did as a human, like outside of music?
I mean, the reason that I got into politics because of NoFX and Fat Mike and Punk Voter and everything. I was 14 in 2004 when Bush got elected, and like everything in with Iraq and Afghanistan was happening, and like my early moments of becoming politically aware. I remember I would print out the sheets that they had on the Punk Voter website, and like following along with debates and stuff, and just like clocking different things and just paying attention to the good and the bad in the world. I had never really listened to music with like politically charged messages, or just not even political, just being a human being and just being cognizant of what's going on around you. So like beyond a musical level, and just like being a human being, listening to songs that were about the state of the world and bad things that were happening and shedding light on certain issues. And I didn't know who Howard Zinn was before I listened to Franco and American. Like, you know, there are certain things. Wait, was it Howard Zinn or was it Noam Chomsky that was referenced? Either way,
both. I think. Yeah.
I just like, I would like read the lyrics as I was listening along, and I was like, oh, who's this? What's this? And I just became politically aware from that era of punk and listening to Rock Against Bush. And yeah, it's just beyond music, that connecting with that just like made me into like a proper human being.
Nice.
Yeah. You said you were 14?
Yeah, in 2004.
Yeah, I think 14 is because 14 was like a real big year for me too. That was 94, but still I was 14, you know, and that's whenever I started like seeing the world differently. So there's I think there's something about that age where you kind of form, you know, what you're going to be like later in life, or the type of music you like. You know, I don't know what it is about 14,
I don't
but
know. It's especially your hormones are doing something to you, telling you to like
yeah,
evolve or die. Become a good person. Start to become a good
yeah,
person now, or you're fucked.
yeah. Well, that's where like my music journey, like my drumming journey started was 14. And I just don't remember, you know, at 13, I don't remember you know, like wanting a drum kit. I remember at 14 wanting a drum kit and liking Green Day and whatever, you know. And I didn't have access to like punk music where I lived, small town Texas. So I don't know. That was my year. So it seemed like it's kind of like yours too.
Yeah, but I mean, before that, I was playing drums, but I was just like, yeah, this is a fun thing I do. But at 14, it's like I am starting a band with my friends.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do
Hmm.
this as more than just something that I do sometimes. It's like not like I can make a career out of this, but like this is becoming the main thing in my life, and that starts
Hmm.
to happen when you're around that age for sure.
Yeah. I had a question. So I know we had talked about like doing that like that kick pattern, like that fast. I don't know. I call it no effects beat or
I
What?
call it no effects beat. Smelly calls it, or is it no?
I.
Bill calls it butt fuck titty fuck.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Matt doesn't swear, so
I mean,
okay.
you know, like I don't, you know,
I
that's,
asked him politely one time, and he did. And it
Excellent.
but
Yeah,
yeah. So
punk beat.
that beat
Yeah.
right there, yeah. So I struggle with that. I can play it, but it's like I gas out really quickly. And I've tried all sorts of pedals. I recently bought a DW 9000. And I was curious what you use. What pedal? I don't know if you listed that earlier when you were talking about your drum setup.
No, did not get into hardware. I'm an Iron Cobra guy.
Okay.
Um, I crank the tension a little tighter. For
Hmm.
a while, when I was um when I was younger, I not only did I tighten the tension, but I adjusted the beater so it was practically horizontal.
Like almost hitting
So
the top of your foot.
yeah, so in order for it to not uh hit my foot, I would have to catch it on the upswing.
Mm.
So there was just a lot more to go. So I honestly, maybe that's the answer for you, Christian, of like how to when you're asking about
trained
like
it.
how to get fast. I used like a lot of weight. Um, so now, so as I got older, it just became second nature. I guess it's like training with like weights that are or it's like using marching sticks or like metal
Mm.
sticks when you're practicing rudiments. So when you go to a lower stick, I guess that's kind of what it is. Um, I have it at a normal angle now. When I was younger, it was like, yeah, if I didn't catch it and didn't keep fast, it would smack me in the fucking foot, and that
Yeah, that
sucked.
hurts, man. Right on the top of the
Yeah,
foot.
Yeah.
So you think
yeah,
having it at that tension helped to where you could get it to where you call it kind of more normal at like a
yeah.
45 almost?
Well, now, yeah. I mean, yeah. Back then it was like straight 90, but
Yeah.
45. But I like a tight spring too.
Yeah.
It's funny playing on other people's pedals where there's just like no action, and I'm just like,
Oh.
how are you generating power? It's like that's when you get into just like overusing your muscles and cramping and all that stuff. It's like the force should come from your thighs,
Hmm.
uh, not from like your lower leg trying to like when you're using your ankle, that's
Yeah.
when it's no good. It should all come from like your center of your mass.
Do you
Um,
do you sit kind of higher? Does that kind of help too? Like using
Not
gravity a
really.
little better?
I sit pretty normal. I
Okay.
think like my legs are pretty much
Like a 90 degree.
pretty much flat. When I was younger, I used to sit really low, um, which I'm so glad I adjusted out of. But that came from like really like studying bill and posture and stuff, and posture is so important. But I was younger, I would like sit so low and play, like watching Zach Hill play. I'm like, oh, you get speed from sitting low somehow, and like more for your, I don't know, but no, it's
Shoulders start hurting from like playing up like that, right?
yeah, exactly. It's not sustainable.
Yeah.
So I sit pretty standard. The snare is just like right where a little above my knees. Yeah.
Well, dude, I think spring tension on a pedal is something that's really overlooked. Like, I wonder how many people just get a pedal, and that's the way it stays forever. I played. I'm trying to think, man. I got a Speed Cobra or an Iron Cobra, sorry, when I was like 18, and I played that thing until I was 38, and it just disintegrated. And I went to a Dynasync. So it's like another Tama pedal, but it's a longboard. It's direct drive, but it's still got like a little bit of a chain feel to it. And that was, some of those pedals get a little crazy because there's so many options. Once I got it where I need it, I just left it. But I think, people think the tighter the chain, the more resistance, but you also get that same off the rebound. Mm-hmm. Like I did the same thing where I tried to like back the spring tension off and it just killed me, man. You're right. You put a lot more into your ankle and your calf muscle and you start cramping up and you notice you're lifting your whole entire leg to get any leverage. But, and I think that's the great thing about this instrument and all instruments for that matter is that's the right pedal. Somewhere out there, someone is playing at fucking lightning light speed with a loose chain with your 90-degree angle.
Absolutely.
That's what's cool, dude, is sitting behind someone else's setup. It could be the worst night of your life. Do you have any experience with like backline kits that were just fucking nightmares? Or
yeah, I mean, I can probably count on like half a hand the amount of times that I've shown up to a gig and like not had my own pedal. As long as I have my kick pedal, like I can work with whatever. But I mean, yeah. And everything from showing up and there not being a drum set to just like a little like Gretsch 16-inch kick drum. Yeah, I mean,
chase it across the room for the night.
We played a show. We played a show in Tijuana one time. This must have been on like one of my first Pairs tours, probably 2015, and we had played in San Diego the night before. Our buddy drives us to the border. We walk all of our gear over, like our breakables, guitars and stuff. We take a cab to Mustache Bar in Tijuana, and I'm sick as a dog. I have food poisoning from the day before, not from Mexico, but from San Diego. I had fish tacos on whatever the pier is called, and I had just like had the worst food poisoning. It's raining. We're playing outside. There's no hi-hat clutch and no drum throne. So I'm getting rained on. I'm sick. I didn't puke once during the set.
Uh-oh.
My bodily functions tend to go away. Like no matter how sick I am, I can get through a set.
Adrenaline kicks in.
Yeah. Oh wait, are we getting audio still?
We're getting audio. That's fine.
Okay,
yeah.
that's fine then.
I have a weird connection tonight for some reason.
It's weird, man. Is I miss all that, so I can see the picture, but I'm getting no audio.
All right, well you'll have to listen when it comes out. Dude.
Yeah,
yeah. I'm just hoping.
Podcast.
I'm just hoping that it did. Like, so you got it, Matt, though, right? You definitely got it. Okay,
yeah.
So you just got me going. Halfway through your story, I made a boom boom. Sorry, guys.
So yeah, so I didn't. Luckily, I didn't puke during the set. But I was not feeling good. I played the whole show with no hi-hat clutch, which is
that's
so
awful.
weird to do.
Yeah.
And I played sitting on a folding chair. So yeah, I mean, there's yeah.
But we should be versatile as drummers. We're professionals.
We are versatile. We shouldn't have to be, but we are, and we make it work no matter what.
But there are so many pieces to a drum kit. There's something going to be missing sometimes,
Honestly, the worst thing is when there's no plastic sleeve on the cymbal stands. I always have extra with me. Like if anytime if you're a venue and you have a house kit, like you gotta know that there can't be metal on metal, and having to put it hurts my soul to just put a loose cymbal directly on the metal.
Yeah.
With no plastic sleeve. That's probably the thing that drives me most insane.
My cymbal bag's always full of extra.
Yeah.
Gotta have them.
What I did a couple weeks ago, I played with Down by Law in Florida, and I rented a drum kit from a guy in Clearwater, Florida, which was cool. He had like 1,000 drum kits. And so I was like, man, that's the way to go. Just show up, rent a drum kit, and you have it for like the whole, whatever shows you're doing.
Yeah.
And then you just take it back before.
That's what we do internationally in Europe and Australia and stuff.
That's
it's
true.
like we just rent a kit. I tell them exactly what I want, and it's there. And it's so sick. I don't have to deal with it. Also, it's great. I love playing my own drum kit, and I always prefer that.
Mm-hmm.
But like being on tour with a band where you're sharing, it's like you're sharing the other band's drum set. It's like it's nice. Some
Yeah.
like those if it's a good drum set, which
Yeah.
I've been blessed with
That's
a
the
lot.
kicker.
It's nice.
Well, dude,
Yeah.
I like hearing about. So we talked about this roughly with a couple of people, like Darren from Old Wives and Bottle Rocket. Like he said, he can just do with whatever. The pedal doesn't matter. Where I'm like, I'm good with the pedal. You're good with the pedal. I guess we can say it because it will already have come out actually tomorrow. But Lucy Giles from Dog Party said the clutch. Like she cannot fuck with someone else's clutch, so she just always has
That's so
her own.
real.
It's funny as I never really thought of that. To like, I just thought that was so interesting that was the thing that she was like, nope, I gotta have the right clutch.
That's interesting. I should use my own clutch all the time. I don't consider the clutch as part of the breakables, but it should be because I know what she's talking about. Because sometimes like you use, I might have it right over here. No, I don't. But yeah, the plastic that's like on the threads could be a little longer or a little shorter, and if it's a little longer, you can't tighten it as much as you want to, so you have like a loose hi-hat, so you can't get it as like buckled down as you want it to. Yeah, I never even thought about that as being like a thing, but she's so right.
Yeah, it's crazy. It made me like a little like nervous about it. So yeah, I just, like I said, man, I got this thing coming up August 30th, and it's songs I haven't played in 20 years with guys I haven't played with in 20 years, and it seems like there's going to be a decent amount of eyes on it, man. And I'm sure Matt knows this. I'm very much an overthinker, but like I'm just like, I got my kit set up perfectly, and now I'm like, I got to tape it where everything is and bring this carpet with me and just know that like this is where it's all going, or I need to bring my pedal and my snare and just give in and just go with it, you know?
Yep. You gotta do what you gotta do.
No, everyone's frozen again. Matt, your face is so funny right now.
I don't think I don't think
you
I've
have never frozen yet.
once.
Not once.
Ugh,
not once. Christian keeps freezing for me.
I know. You look like you're eating a lemon, Matt.
It's weird. Sometimes we'll have these weird internet issues. And it's funny because so in my studio, I'm looking at my drum room. It's a big room, and we're having auditions. My daughter's auditioning for, well, it's not auditions, but they're doing a theater production of Annie. And there's like a whole bunch of people here, like just on the other side of the glass from me.
That's so cool.
And so I'm wondering if some of their phones or something are interfering with my
kick them off the Wi-Fi, man. You got too many people on your fuck Wi-Fi.
I don't know if they're on my Wi-Fi.
Daddy Warbucks, is that his name? I saw Annie on Broadway when I was a kid.
Yeah, this is. I think this is Annie Jr. So my daughter's 8, and she's playing one of the orphans. So like they've been on the other side of this glass just the whole time practicing, but I can't hear them because I've got like the guys who built my studio double walled it, you know. So you can't hear anything at all. But that may be what's messing with my Wi-Fi.
I love your nails, Matt. It's a good color.
Yeah, I just said I have an 8-year-old daughter.
Yeah, dude.
I had some purple on my nails. They're finally gone away. But yeah, I had a 3-year-old do them. Our buddy Pete and Cassie that we stay with when I play Boston. She's 3 now and just like goes crazy on it. She loves painting nails. It's so much fun.
I remember letting my kids paint my toenails one time, and I blew my ankle out, and I had to go to the emergency room, and I like took my shoe off, and they like she looked at my foot, looked at me, and then like didn't even make a face. I'm like, I guess it just looks like my feet should look like this. But
dude, when my dad was dying of cancer, he did hospice from home, and we would always get pedicures together, me, him, and my stepmom. Sometimes my grandma would come. So his toenails were like bright green, and the hospice nurse comes. He's like checking my dad out and stuff, and like looks at his feet, and he's just like, "Oh, okay. Never seen that before." Very funny.
Jesus, dude. I think more stories you just start like that. Matt's face. When he said that, it was like, what the.
And he had the biggest smile on his face.
It sounds like it was a great memory, right? Yeah.
I've never shown him on a podcast before. This is my dad right here. He wanted his ashes to be made into a paperweight, ornate paperweight. So I got to choose the color and everything. So this is my dad right here.
Should we say hi?
Cool, huh? Yeah. Hey, Paul.
That's so cool.
Dude, that is awesome.
Yeah. He's on TV now.
People will have to watch the YouTube video to see this.
Yeah.
Paul makes an appearance.
I think that's so rad that different things are happening in that world now.
Which world?
Just just being able to like be made into something that's, I don't know, man. The thought of I mean, it's obviously been like ingrained into us society, but like, how vain is it to try to preserve yourself while you're in a box under the ground? You know what I mean? Like, dude, I am not important enough where I need to be preserved. Like,
no, there's like barely any land left. Like, it don't matter.
Yeah, I get to that age and started writing things, and I asked my wife if they could just put me in a giant catapult and just launch me and let me land wherever. Apparently, that's not legal. But
I don't think that would. Yeah.
I also got the spring-loaded coffin was vetoed. It's like launch up. I don't want to waste your time, but
have you seen the Saturday Night Live sketch? It's called toilet ejector seat or something like that. Dude, it's the funniest thing. It's like if you feel yourself dying, you sit on the toilet and it throws you, it ejects you onto your bed, and then a book drops from the ceiling to make it look like you died reading a book. Put your pants around your ankles.
Actually, I got a good story.
I read books.
I got a good story about my dad as it relates to us. He was like, he was the most instrumental in getting me into music and stuff, and just like supported every band I was in. And he knew how much, like, he was there for like, like me getting into punk and NoFX and Lagwagon. But of all the bands, he really liked Lagwagon and how like melodic Joey sang, and it was he liked Lagwagon a lot. And so we got to, when I joined Pears and we got to tour with them, he was living in Florida and he got to come to our show, and he's like backstage with us. I was like, Joey, this is my dad. Dad's Joey. This is Dave. This is Chris. This is everybody. And he got to hang out with us backstage. And like, at this, I'm in the process of meeting all my childhood heroes, and to have him there with the band that like he connected to. Because when I was a teenager, he would bring me into New York City all the time. He was standing in the back. I was always like right in the front, staring at the drummer, of course, watching NoFX and Lagwagon. So he's seen all those bands a million times, taking me, and to have him backstage meeting Lagwagon and like connecting with Joey and Dave and everybody was just the coolest thing in the world. Life
awesome,
is special like that. Yeah.
Well, I feel honored he just made an appearance on the podcast.
Yeah, dude. I mean, really, man, thank you for sharing that with us. That's the kind of shit right there that these experiences that we all have, they're so different, but they all end up sort of connecting at the same place one way or another. So
absolutely.
Oh, yeah, dude, that's rad.
Yeah, my parents are both around still, but they're super supportive of all the.
Isn't that nice?
All the music, yeah, and and I didn't really expect them to. I mean, I guess when you're a kid, it's you don't really know like what's gonna happen. Are they gonna be okay with this or not? But my friends started showing up with blue hair and piercings and tattoos, and at first it was kind of weird, and then they were just fine with it. It's just all of a sudden,
Yeah,
and,
my mom Joyce, she was just like, I was the drummer, so of course we all practiced at my house, and she let it happen. She knew it was a passion that I had and that we had, and just like the amount of noise that was happening in our home was so cool. And like, I wouldn't be here doing this if it wasn't for her letting us do that and seeing that kind of stuff in us. And yeah, it's just like getting to share these kinds of things, like again, like with like touring with Pears and touring with the people I grew up idolizing. Like we played at Webster Hall with Me First and the Gimme Gimmes on a tour, and my whole family came, my mom, my sister, my grandma, my aunt, my uncle, and we're just all in like the tiny little backstage. And like my mom is there, who like watched me listen to these records, and just to share that stuff with the people who you are here because of. It's very sick, and I'm lucky to have had a lot of those kinds of special moments. Yeah, life is cool sometimes,
Yeah, there's definitely more. It's getting, in my 40s now, like it's so much easier to get through a day and look back on all the awesome shit instead of like the one or two things that suck throughout the day, and focus more on the good things, and just being able to sit down behind my kit another day and hang out with my family, and just it's damn it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good place to be for sure.
Well, it's been about an hour and a half. Do you have anything else you want to ask him, or do you want
to guys have like a lightning round or anything? Any fun, like a little things?
Well, Yes, we do.
Yes.
We have a segment. It's called Questions from My Kids.
Oh, I love it.
So, well, the first off is the pressure's really on with you. The other one I haven't seen yet, but my daughter, my 11-year-old drew this, and she wants to know: do you think it's good?
Absolutely, it's way better than I could do.
Yeah, I think it's great as well.
Okay, so that'll be your next tattoo when you come here.
Cool. Wait, hold on. Let me see. I gotta show you something to show you how much I cannot draw. It's gonna be worth it. It's really funny. Oh man, what thing is it? Ugh. You know what? Just cut that part. I deleted all my photos from my phone. We tried to draw on this last tour I did with Oceanator. We all tried to draw Sonic from memory. Oh wait, no, I have it because I made a sticker out of it, and it's just fucked up. I really want to share it with you.
Please do. I'm so scared of these next two questions because I have them write them and then they fold them up so I don't see them until I'm reading them. So I hope that they're not too out there, but I'm gonna go out and let them hear.
Okay, it's also here. Wait, where is it? Hold on. Can you see that?
Groot?
That's my. I tried to fucking draw Sonic,
That's
and
Groot.
that's what came out.
The hedgehog?
Yeah, dude. So when I say that your daughter's drawing is good, I mean it.
That looks like something that Scooby-Doo guys would pull off of the
I can drum and like that's it.
It's the fucking the dude from Spider-Man with the burlap.
Yeah.
The scarecrows.
Oh my god, yeah.
Okay.
I would have never guessed Sonic. Sorry.
All right, so I'll say this, Jarret. If you come to upstate New York to Albany, I'll let you tattoo that on me.
Oh, that's so sick.
We gotta get that somewhere on my leg.
We were all talking about getting it tattooed, how that was gonna be the tour tattoo. We didn't do it, so yeah, I'll
well,
happen.
Descendants are coming my way August 5th, so I got to get Rhino into the shop. I mean, the venue's less than 10 minutes from my tattoo shop.
I love when Rhino comes on tour because we'll go get like a fancy meal and just order everything and have cocktails and just like we went to this awesome French restaurant here in Philly and just balled out. It was so
I
sick.
love Rhino so much.
Yeah, he's the best.
He lives in Houston. I'm in Dallas, so we're I don't know about 4 hours apart. But
yeah, nice.
I trained his dog. I trained Stefan's dog, and we got even closer during those. I train dogs, and drum and photography and stuff. But
the balanced canine.
Yeah. I'm always in my work shirt. But Stefan and Rhino let me do their portraits and everything, and they're just great guys. They've been here several times, and just the best.
Very cool.
All right, you ready to jump back into this?
Ready.
Oh god, dude! Again, I apologize if any of these are just
hit me with it. I'm around kids all the time. I know what it's like.
Can you say lettuce and then spell cup?
Lettuce CUP.
Why? Why is this my life?
Oh, that's so good. Kids rock.
Okay, and we'll turn the paper over. Jarret, do you poop a lot?
Yeah, I do. I usually poop 2 or 3 times before I leave the house. I like to ask any of the dudes in pairs. I like to wake up earlier than everyone else because I like to. There's nothing I hate more than rushing in the morning. I like to have a cup of coffee, relax. So usually, like, I'll wake up, I'll poop once, have a cup of coffee, poop again, and then like that's usually it. Sometimes it's like putter around the house, do whatever, and then I'll do it a third time.
Lightning round, right?
And then and then like periodically throughout the day, like, and I have a good healthy digestive system. It's like it's working, it's good. So the answer is yes.
Wow, I think I've said this numerous times on numerous episodes, but the fact that like usually one or more of these questions someone will have a very serious answer to, and I just fucking love ending it on such an odd note. So
beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Kids know what's up. They know how to get you to the place you want to be.
Exactly.
Oh, for sure.
On that note, man, dude, thank you so much for coming on. This is
my pleasure.
This is fucking fun, man. And then as time goes on, we'd love to have you back again when
Yeah,
there's
anytime.
some stuff going on. And
Anytime, dude.
hell yeah, man. Well, dude, and seriously, keep in touch, man. If you're coming out this way, let me know. Kingston's about an hour and a half, so we can meet up and get some lunch or something like that. And
Love it.
we'll FaceTime Matt so he can be there with us.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Or if you're ever in Dallas, we'll FaceTime you, Christian.
That's fine.
Yeah, hell yeah. Whatever works, baby.
That's right. You know, it's a trip, dude. Is Matt and I have never met
Is that true?
in real life.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how it is these days, though, because I'm in a cover band with, it's like a Descendants cover band called Just Like Them, and there's two of the bass player and guitar player. I've never met them.
That is amazing.
Yeah, and
Wow.
I just played with, like I said, I played with Down by Law a couple weeks ago. I just met Dave. Like I recorded their last album, and I'm doing a solo album with Dave Smalley, and I just met him. So that's how it is these days.
It's true.
It's 2020. It's 2025. I guess you don't really have to meet anybody.
You can do everything online.
Will I see you at Stoke this year?
Me?
Yeah.
At what?
Stoke for summer.
What is that?
Stone Pony.
That's what I said.
Oh, yes. I feel like that thing has a different name every year. Yeah, I'll be there. Can't wait to like pester Dave Ron for backstage stuff. My buddies in Sprainerd are playing. Do you know that band Sprainerd?
Yep.
Yeah, good Philly friends of mine. They're playing it. They rock. Can't wait.
I just got my Dave Ron sticks.
Oh, I got mine up there somewhere.
Little Joe's a friend of mine. He hooked me up.
Yeah, I got mine are right here, Matt. I got both mine there. But Jarret, if you don't come before then, man, I'll be there too. So we should meet up and we'll have a drummer's lunch. We'll get everyone together. So again, man, thank you so much. Yeah, but you can come. Fly in. You said you were going to fly in.
I'll just be getting back from Europe like a few days before that, so I don't think I'm flying to Jersey.
It's all right. It's all right.
It'll be my first time in Europe playing, so
amazing.
I'm nervous.
Oh, it's gonna be a blast.
Yeah, for sure.
It'll be fun.
Playing Brack Rock with Millencolin and all that. Yeah, that'll be fun.
I've played Brack Rock many times. It's a trip. It's really fun.
I'm excited, but I've never been to Europe, so
I'm
getting hyped up.
I miss traveling like that, dude. It's the best over there. I love Europe. Yeah.
Well, that makes me feel better.
You're gonna love it.
Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah. Thank you so much, man. This was really fun.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. This is cool.
All right, buddy. We'll be in touch. We'll talk soon.
All right. Hell yeah.
All right. Later.
Bye, Jarret.